All right, good morning, everybody. I hope everybody had a great night and got some good rest, and you're ready to get back at it today. I know for me, I had a rough day yesterday, to say the least. Was just out of sorts. Just one of those mornings, and I realized everything that happened to me was based on how my weekend went. Number one, I spent a lot of time this weekend. You know, I, it's March Madness, so I'm a college basketball fanatic, and so we spent the weekend going to games because for the first time in a long time, we had the tournament here in South Carolina. Some of the games, so I was able to get to them, and didn't eat very well. And when you have diabetes and you don't eat right, it's going to affect your chemistry. And yesterday was just a product of all weekend because as I thought about it, I woke up yesterday morning. I cut my alarm off. It went off, at 5:30 like every day, and I cut it off saying, "Why is this going off on Sunday morning?" So I cut it off and went back to sleep. And 7:15, my wife woke me up saying, it's 7:15, and I'm still thinking that it's Sunday, but it was actually Monday. So everything I did that weekend really kind of hurt me and set the stage for what happened yesterday morning. I just wasn't 100% here. Mentally, I wasn't. So it was interesting just to sit there and think about it. Now, yesterday we talked about, what the gap between where we are now and where we want to be. There's a gap, and it doesn't matter who we are. Everybody has a gap. We have to fill that gap between where we are now and our goals, our dreams, our aspirations. Where we want to be in a year or 2 years, or what our ultimate goal is. And yesterday we talked about one of the principles that can help us get there, which is effort. How much effort are you giving? And I ask you to take an honest look at yourself and try to figure out, how much effort are you putting in? Are you putting in 60%? Are you putting in 50%? Because the reality is, you only get out what you put in. If you put 50% effort in, you're only going to get 50% out. It's just that's reality. And success equals the sum of all repeated efforts. So what we get is what we put in. And I use, and I will be using a lot of basketball references because it's March Madness, and I'm a student of the game. I've always been a student of the game. And I think that's why I like women's basketball better, because they play more fundamentally sound than the men play now. And I like fundamentals. And I like to watch the sets. I like to watch the set plays. There's still some men teams, that play old school basketball, and that's what I love. But so I'm going to continue to use that analogy. And we talked about how some teams, they put in more effort than others. It doesn't matter how much talent you have, how much education you have, how smart you are. None of that really matters. What matters is how much effort are you putting in. Because you can have a team with 5 potential NBA draft picks. You can have all, Americans, all Americans on your team. But if the other team comes in and they out effort you, that team, they're going to lose. They are going to lose. So the key is making sure you give everything. So what we're going to talk about today is commitment. You know, commitment is the glue that binds you to your goal. And the way you should think about this is when you coming into trading, are you just excited? Are you just excited about trading, or are you committed to it? Now, if you're just excited about it, this is new, and you're like, man, this is something that's going to get me to the next level. You know, your effort is going to be affected by your excitement level. And that goes up and down. Now, if you're committed to it, your level of effort is going to be more consistent. And that's where we need to get to. You know, we need to be committed. And what we can think about, we talked about this before, is when you come into it, you have to think about I get to versus I got to. I get to be a day trader. I get to learn how to trade so that I can reach my goals. I can reach financial security. You know, I get to do this, not I got to. Because what you're doing, you're thinking about the obligation and not the opportunity. And it's just like the morning show that I do every day. You know, I started doing this before I even started my own service. It's something that I like to do. I get to do it. I enjoy doing it. It's what I want to do. I don't feel obligated to do it. If I did, you know, when I ran into the first roadblock with Ticker TV, I would have just said, okay, forget about it. Or when I ran into this roadblock with YouTube Live, I could have said, you know, forget about it. You know, but I didn't, because I looked at this as something I get to do. I get to help change people's lives. I get to help people achieve their goals. And that's the way I look at it. When you come in trading, that's kind of how you have to look at it. Because we have to bridge this gap. We have to close this gap. And effort and our commitment to that effort, that's what's going to help us get there. So that's something I want you guys to think about. You know, is what you need to do in order to close that gap, to bridge that gap between where you are and where you want to be. All right, let's look at some stocks today. We only have a couple. ESPR, I really missed the boat on it. Now, I did get a little piece of it yesterday, and that was the best trade I made yesterday. But I really missed the boat on that. And it was all because of how I was analyzing things and how I was seeing the market yesterday. You know, I just wasn't in a good place, and I wasn't seeing things for what it was. And that happens sometimes. And what you have to recommend it. I mean, you have to recognize it and understand that you're going to have days like this. And when you do, you got to be able to identify it. And if those are the days that you don't need to trade, then those are going to be the days that you don't need to trade. You need to sit on your hands. Because I'd rather be even for the day than be red on the day. So let's see. GEL, I think this is a public offering. I'm not sure. Because we're in a big time sell-off here. But I think I remember seeing something. Yep. Public offering. So this may be a good trade. We'll take a look at it. This may be another sell-off day. Yesterday was only an 88-cent sell-off. We got a little bit less volume. The day before, we had a pretty big sell-off. So here we're running into a bottom here. So we'll take a look at it just to see if it will set up for an all-day fade. I don't really like trading these for a day trade. I like more or less swing trading these if the fundamentals are bad. If the reason they're doing a public offering is because they're short on cash and they're trying to, stay afloat, then I might look at it. Let's see if there's any fresh news on ESPR. Let's see. No fresh news on it this morning. No, nothing. So this may just be a secondary move. I'll keep it on watch because it can continue to run. So let's take a look at the daily chart here for ESPR. We'll check it out first. Alright, so you see we had this big gap down day, and then yesterday we had this big gap up. And we are running into some resistance up above, but they're nice windows that if we get into, these are real nice windows. And I'm going to make sure that I got everything covered. Yeah. I've got it all covered. So, didn't really see this going. I didn't see this happening yesterday. I really didn't. I really, really didn't. Had I did, had I seen this, I would be sitting pretty. I probably could have taken the rest of the week off on this. But we'll see what happens today. I will keep it on watch. I do like, where we are in here. We do have some nice windows. So not sure we will blow this, but let's see how many times we rotated the float yesterday. Let's see. We had a 19 million share float. Well, we only rotated it once, 1.5 times. We traded 1.5 times over the float. So that's not too bad. And that's what caused it to get this run. And you're probably going to have a lot of people looking at possibly shorting this today. I wouldn't be surprised if people are zapping up all of these shares to short at some point. Alright, so let's look at GEL. We've already got the levels on ESPR from yesterday. Yeah, we got levels above 43.28. Yep, they're levels that go all the way up. You've got, let me show you. ESPR. Okay, I've got over 43.28. The next one I have is 47.24. And then 49.05. That's what I have to the upside. Yeah, but we'll see. I mean, with no fresh news this morning, this is probably going to continue to be a secondary play, which those days aren't as strong. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right. Don't see anything over here. Let me take a look at AUPH. That's pretty close. Oh, I still need to look at G. Not going to really look at GEL for a day trade. AUPH, let me take a look at it. It may not have any range on it, but we do have volume this morning. And I want to see if there's any news out on it. See, the ATR isn't bad. So it closes public offering, okay, in full exercise of underwriter's option to purchase additional common shares. So that's complete. And I think I'm not so sure about this, whether it's going to give an opportunity or not. I know we've got volume, and this one has $1.18 average true range, and this is positive news to a certain extent. That they completed their public offering. That started March 15th, and that's pretty neat. They reached their goal in 5 days. So that might be interesting. We'll take a look at that one. DB, Deutsche Bank, I'm not too interested in. I don't typically like trading bank stocks. They don't move. That's not to say that they won't. You never know. It's the market. Anything can happen. But typically, I don't trade those. When I say the float was rotated, that means we traded over 30 million shares, and the float is only 19 million. Like, the float is how many shares that are available on the open market to trade. And, we traded 1.5 times that. And usually when that happens, that's when the stock blows up. And that's exactly what happened with ESPR yesterday. Fran doesn't have enough volume. until till it looks like it's gonna have enough volume to be in play today. Um, I typically don't even look at it. It has to prove to me that we're gonna be in play that day. All right, let's see, GEL. I just want to kind of get a bird's eye view of where we are on this. I don't know if it's going to give any opportunity or not. See, we're at 31.34. I think this might have too much traffic in it for me to look at today. Yeah, everything still lines up pretty good. This is all the way back in 2013. So let's see. It's a pretty nice gap down there. We'll see. We've got some nice windows that it can work in. So I'll keep my eye on it. And let's see, what's the other one? AUPH. This one is below $10, but it's got a nice ATR based on these last 14 days. You know, this candle had a $1.99 range yesterday, $1.56 on some pretty decent volume here. So we are running up. We've got a high of 1054, 52-week high. I don't think we have any more price action in that area. Nope. So this might be interesting. I'm gonna keep my eye on this. We might have a little runner today, possibly up to this 1050 level. You know, and if you notice, I may have I'm changing up a little bit. You know, changing up my parameters for the stocks that I trade, because you know the market is dictating, and it's saying, you know, it's telling me that these other stocks are in play. Like ESPR yesterday had a lower float, and typically I don't like trading them if they have that lower float. And you could see the price action and stuff on it when it opened, but you know, in the end, it calmed down and it made some nice moves. And it made the moves that I typically see in these higher priced, you know, medium float stocks. So as long as the market continues to be the way it is, I will open my mind up a little bit more to these stocks, but they need to have, larger move potential. And AUPH does have a larger move potential. Now I'm looking at it, ESPR and AUPH are 3-to-1 margin on SureTrader. So they're predicting some volatility in both of these. No shares on AUPH to short, but I wouldn't be looking at this for a short. So the only way I would trade it is if, we started to push up and we started, continuing this move up. Anything short, I wouldn't be. If it sets up short, I'll just take it off watch because I don't have shares too short. So that's all I see from me today. I'm going to be watching GEL, AUPH, and ESPR. Those are the three that I will watch today. And we'll have a little bit more open mind. Yesterday, my mind was just closed and opinionated, which is a recipe for limiting your potential in the market. So won't be doing that today. So I'm going to be watching GEL, AUPH, and ESPR, and we'll see what today brings us. AUPH, GEL, and ESPR. I'm going to type it in here because we're right at the 9 o'clock cutoff. So don't think I'll be adding anything else to this. Watch list. All right, guys. All right, you're welcome. That's going to be it for me today. Remember, tomorrow we're going to do the Sneak Peek Wednesday. So, I'll keep the room open. The morning show room open until about 10:30. Hopefully, I'm going to change these parameters because even though people are registering for it, some of them, this morning I got 3 or 4 emails of people who can't get in. So evidently it's starting to be a problem with it. So I'm going to take the password off of it and may just have it where all you have to do is come in, not have to go through the registration part. But I'll see if I can get that fixed. All right, awesome. We'll be looking forward to having you. We'll be glad to have you. Yeah, I think Davi, it's just something wrong with the registration part of it. I think even though I have it built in as a recurring event, it still it'll work one day, then it'll make you re-register. Yeah, it should only be, because I have the main room for people that subscribe, the subscribers, which is completely different. But this one should be, this one is a public room, so it shouldn't have any, shouldn't have any issues. But I'll go back and try to clean it up and make it as seamless as possible. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take the registration requirement off of it. All right, guys. So y'all take care. I will see you tomorrow. It's gonna be. We're gonna make it better, no doubt about it. Plus, I am recording it, so I'll be putting them up on YouTube as well.